Hello, welcome inside the Hera Press Box. Welcome to our day before Labor Day edition of the Hera Press Box podcast. We are going to talk some about the U.S. Open tonight. I have a topic that we'll discuss. We also might dive into the WNBA as that season has come to an end and the postseason will begin, as Alyssa just found out 4 seconds ago on Wednesday. So, first, you said you don't have anything big to start off with? Or
I do not. No.
do you have those topics? Okay. Okay. So, there's some discussion of this last Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of wanted to talk a little bit through it because I think we can talk some through it, and I want to get your thoughts thinking behind it.
Okay.
So something that you raised the question on was the loyalty of NWSL teams, right?
Yeah.
And their loyalty to the players that they have had for so long. But then at the same time, if you hadn't already jumped off yourself, you would still be on trying to kick me off or pull me off with you. And that is the bandwagon or the wagon of fandom for Eugenie Bouchard. So, and I guess, I get, and that's probably the only main reason that I still follow her is because of that loyalty that I felt that I've built up over these months.
Yeah.
So do you think, is it different? Is it different between female sports and male sports? Where do you draw that line for a team, for a fan?
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything you can talk to that right away, or do you want me to try to figure out what I want to say first?
I mean, as far as a difference between males and females, I think there is for sure. I think the male side of it is more of a business than anything, just because there's so much money involved. There's so much money involved with how much they're being paid and how much an organization makes in comparison. So I think that there's a big difference there, just in that sense. So there's maybe not necessarily as much, I guess, loyalty to it. If you have a franchise player and you decide, I guess, to trade him away, then that's when I would start to question it. It's not like I don't question it. It's just more or less a business on the male side of things, or I see it more of a business on the male side of things.
Does women's sports get to that point even because, I mean, you're going to have that bigger connection with them?
Yeah, I am assuming so. You already see it to happen. You already see it happening with Mewis being traded twice in 1 week.
Yeah. Do you retract on any of your statements about Bouchard?
I can understand where you're coming from. But to me, it's different because it's not like you can trade her away. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's more of, it's an individual. So it's not like you're going to take her and you're going to move her to this part of the country or this part of the world. And
right. And then at the same time, it's not like but then I can't, look at a bracket and,
right.
Oh, there's Bouchard. Don't care.
Right. I can understand that. But
yeah,
it's more or less some of the things that she has said, which is, and you're on the opposite spectrum about the person that she said some things about, or I assume you are. So I understand why you're staying on the fandom. You're in the genie army or whatever they call themselves.
Oh, not that.
You're not that big of a fan.
I didn't know that was a thing. I don't really care.
Yeah, it's definitely a thing. I think
Does
yeah.
Does Sakari have anything like that?
As
I don't
far
need to
as like
start
a
that.
fandom,
Yeah. I
I
don't need to
think you're
start
the
something.
first. Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think you're in charge of starting it.
Okay. Now there is some fan page on Twitter that
There's
gets
fan
into it pretty
pages
well.
all over the place
Yeah,
for every
but
single player.
this is this is next level.
This is next.
We should get them on the podcast. I'll direct message them.
All right, you do that.
Look forward to that. So the U.S. Open is down to they're in the around the sweeps or around the 16, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
four have advanced.
Mm-hmm.
Americans Venus and Sloane Stevens. And then Kvitova and Sevastova have also advanced. Any thoughts on those players?
No, not really. The biggest one that I'm surprised about was Kvitova. I was expecting Muguruza to kind of pull through that one. She was having a great summer on tour. So I think that was kind of not necessarily an upset, but a little bit more surprising. And it wasn't a real difficult match maybe for Kvitova. I don't think she played her necessarily best, but there wasn't really much Muguruza that had an answer for from what I saw.
Yeah, I agree completely. Yeah. The north half of the bracket, I haven't been able to. I feel like I haven't watched much at all. That's
Right.
the final 8. There are Pliskova and Brady, and all these matches will be tomorrow.
Yeah.
Vandaway, Safarova, Svitolina, Keys, Kasatkina, and Kanepi
Mm-hmm.
are those finals there. And yeah, like I said, I haven't watched a whole lot. Obviously, I watched Coco Vandaway
Right.
play in her matches, and as from what I've seen from her, and not saying anything else of potential opponents, I would imagine she's playing well enough to win at least another match, if not 2 or 3.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think Safarova, she's always dangerous, even though she's not ranked, I see here. But the way that I've seen Coco play, as long as she doesn't get, I guess, too down on herself and too negative, she usually goes out and can put a great match together, just essentially managing it and getting through the lowest points in the match.
Any predictions from
I don't,
those
yeah, I'm just, out of those four
or the
four
whole
tomorrow.
tournament? Now that we'll be closing in on the championship by the time we
That's
talk
true.
next.
I think
You can copy me if you want.
Yeah, no. I think Coco wins tomorrow. I hope Madison Keys wins tomorrow. But Svitolina has been playing. I mean, I think she's had the most titles in the WTA so far this year. So it's going to be a tough one if Madison can't put a good match together. I don't see Brady winning whatsoever. Not saying that it can't happen. I think as far as finals go, it would be great to see Venus in the final and win it. I think I said this in Wimbledon too, is everyone kind of puts Venus on the back burner, then all of a sudden she makes it in to the finals and we're like, oh yeah, Venus is actually really good. We forgot about her. So I'm picking Venus all the way.
Okay. Well, I'm picking Stevens.
Yeah, she had a really great first set, and then she went away, and then I don't even know. She was there, then she went away, and then she came back. So I don't know what was up with that.
Yeah, she's fine.
She's fine.
Then, as we mentioned, the postseason for the WNBA
Mhm.
will be starting. Those just run through those 8 that made the tournament: Minnesota, Los Angeles, New York, Connecticut, Phoenix, Washington, Dallas, and Seattle. Is the team that you want to win different than the team you think will win?
No.
You want the Lynx to win, huh?
No, I do not want the Lynx to win.
I know you're a Liberty fan.
Yes, I'm a diehard Liberty fan. No, I think the Sparks are going to win, and I think that they're going to win. I think it's going to be a repeat of last year, and I think it's going to go to 5. And I think the Sparks still get another championship underneath their belt.
I need to do some research before I make my predictions.
I mean, yeah, you have the current or the reigning MVP on the Sparks, and you're going to have the new MVP on the Lynx. So it would kind of be a shame for those two teams not to make the finals.
I kind of want to see Dallas beat Los Angeles first round.
They aren't. They aren't going to.
Yeah, that'd be great, though. That's what I'm pulling for. That's all I want to happen.
It's Seattle. It's a Storm and the Mercury in the first round, and Dallas.
Yeah, it's split up different, isn't it?
Yeah, and then it's Dallas and Washington, and then the worst seed faces the Liberty, and then the second worst seed, or however you want to say it, plays the Sun. I kind of like how they do it. I think it makes the most sense.
Yeah, and as opposed to maybe one bye for the 2 best teams, and you hear that maybe it's just freshening those other players as these teams fall behind for a couple of days. Now it's 2 series leading up to that,
right?
For the bottom 4 teams, and if they get through, I think they're probably tired by then.
And it's based on seeding, so each round they essentially reseed teams. So I think, and they pick the top 8 seeds, so it doesn't matter what conference you're in. I think that ramps up the competition, and it makes each game more important. Just in the sense of it doesn't matter whether they're a conference game or not. Each game should be playing into the outcome of the season, or play a bigger role in the season as a whole than playing 85 some games and resting players for 10 games. But that's just my opinion.
Well, it's not allowed here, so we'll edit that part out and move on. So I had something from, I don't remember who posted this comment, but it was in regards to the National Pro Fast Pitch League, and the gist of this piece was the NPF has had only 14 seasons, and then it starts comparing that to other professional leagues with 14 seasons. So it talks about Wilt scoring his 100-point game was in the 14th season, and then it goes on to say, quote, or will people will talk about in the NPS 14th season, quote, Monica Abbott shut down the vaunted Pride for one day in August of 2017 to win the Coles Cup for the Scrapyard Dogs. And I thought that was really cool that that was stated in that way.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I can't believe it's been around for 14 seasons.
Yeah, 14 seasons. A lot of change.
Yeah.
So hardly recognizable from
That's true.
First years, but 14 years, yeah. And my other thing for this evening was another week of college soccer is in the books, and
Oh,
in my
yeah.
opinion,
Before we kind of go into your speech, I'm calling you
Yeah.
out because last week, or no, on Thursday, well, so last week, I guess, you were saying that the Badgers win against the top, or one of the top teams, the number 3 seed at the time, wasn't that big of an upset, and that they were going to lose to William and Mary. And can you remind me who won today?
I said they were going to lose.
Yeah, you said that they were going to lose. You may not have said it on air, but you said it to me after, at the very least.
I said 2-2.
You said, I think you said 2-1. You said that they were going to lose.
Okay, let me go check because I'm 100% sure I said 2-2. There will be times when you can call me out, but this isn't the one.
You said it to me that they were going to lose. You're like, it's not that big of an upset.
Yeah, it's not because I have Wisconsin ranked higher than Virginia. Are you looking it up too, or are you not?
Yeah.
Are you hiding your?
No, I'm seeing if it was in text form or not. I don't think it was. I think we talked about it either on here or after. No, it's not in text form.
Well, I said it was going to be 2-2.
No, that's a lie.
That's not a lie. Why would I say they were going to lose?
I don't know. That's why I was confused. But I said, all right.
Well,
anyways, continue.
2-2.
You're determined to find it now.
I know, right? Nope, not in text, so you're lucky. You can just call me out with no evidence. Anyway, so in my opinion, I think I'm starting to think more and more that there's a divide in college soccer, and that's the top. What I would say 7 teams, 6 or 7. I don't know if I'm ready to put SMU at the top, but Florida State, Stanford, North Carolina, Duke, West Virginia, and Penn State are top 6, hands down, no matter what. Maybe SMU hangs around with them. We'll see once they get into conference play if they can hopefully run through that schedule, part of their schedule, pretty easily and hang around with those top teams. But then UCLA, South Carolina, and Georgetown, I think, are there as that second echelon. But my opinion, yeah, those top 6 are going to be those teams to watch. And one of those, somebody just won 6-0 against a fairly good team. Very impressive. UCLA won again tonight. They won 2-0. They scored on a last-second goal, so they were able to extend that lead, make it look a little better against Weber State, but they are 6-0. As far as undefeated teams in my rankings, I have SMU, UCLA, and Clemson. So I'll probably post that in the morning, as I tried to do last Monday morning. So maybe one of these days, when you're comfortable enough with all the teams, confident enough, we can combine those rankings and have more than one vote. But
so
for now, I'm okay with it. It's my opinion.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. It's helping me out. So I'm just looking on NCAA.com at the rankings, and this was last updated on the 29th. So I guess it hasn't included our last 2 games. And when I say us, I mean the Badgers. But we hadn't gotten any votes. William and Mary had gotten 24 votes. And then at the time, Virginia was ranked 3. So where do you think we stand after the next go about next
I think
rankings?
we're ranked.
Okay.
And I think, and I guess one of my reasons for saying that about that first grouping of teams was because losses to those teams are a given, really.
Right.
And I think that early on as we are, that already the NCAA and the riders that create those rankings should be able to see that. And
Right.
like it was a team like Wisconsin that lost big to Stanford, who wouldn't lose big to Stanford, and they might have been the team that just beat somebody 6-0 and
Right.
blew them out. So I think we're ranked. Let's see, Central Florida won 2-1 today. I don't know, I can't remember what they did earlier in the week. California beat Long Beach State tonight, 1-0, and that wasn't very convincing. And I'm not sure I can't remember what they did earlier in the week. Looking through the other teams receiving votes. No, none of them stick out too much to me. Because I have Arkansas in my rankings. I have Arkansas at 15. They have a prolific offense. They just scored 11 goals in their last game. So, I mean, they're in consideration for that one of those spots if one opens up in the top 25. But I think Wisconsin's top 25 team come
right. And I mean, yeah, and I'm looking at Marquette is getting votes too.
Yeah.
So how are we not getting votes? Where did that stop happening, or were we getting votes? I thought that was incorrect.
Yeah, Michigan went 0-1-1 this week, so they're probably dropping out. SMU, they have them low, and they won. But I know they're not a big. I guess I can't see them dropping out after a win. But then again, a win over Virginia is more impressive than what they're going to consider SMU did. Oh, I didn't know they had Wake Forest ranked.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is of last week, so we'll see what comes out.
Yeah. And I guess it'll be Tuesday.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, maybe one of these days I'll put USC in my top 25. They're the only team right now that I don't have in there. That's in the top
10.
Yep, top 13. Nebraska is not in. They're 14.
Yeah. Our soccer rankings educate me. Are they accurate? Is it kind of like football, where even if, I don't know, the 7th ranked team loses, they drop to 9 or something like that? Is it more impactful? I guess our losses just as impactful, I guess, in football, depending on where you're ranked at the current time?
I would say they're not very accurate.
Okay.
And, I mean, case in point,
right,
as we've talked about, when Wisconsin didn't get in to the NCAA tournaments, and they were, I think, ranked both of those 2 years that we talked about. Also, you have stellar conferences for ACC and Pac-12. So once we get into those conference seasons, I mean, you'll see teams lose and lose and lose and either never get a vote or somehow stay top 10 just because of their opponents. That's kind of a mess.
So that's kind of what I gathered from you over the past couple of days. But I was just
somehow the RPI isn't, I mean, it's better, but it's not completely reliable. So that is also listed there on NCAA. They have not updated it, and I guess they won't for probably a month into the season, which I guess we're almost there now.
Right.
Yeah, and West Virginia went on the road. No, they were at home, I guess, and beat Penn State. Penn State was number 1 on the NCAA's coaches rankings. Is that right? They were ranked number 1 for somebody, I guess. I'm not sure how many polls there are. I just care about my own. Yeah. So that was a huge one for the Mountaineers. and I moved them up to 5. Penn State at 6.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, they're all just puzzle pieces right now, moving around for those top 6, but already shaping up to be a fun season.
Mm-hmm.
What else we got?
We can switch gears to the NWSL.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was there a shutout tonight?
You know what? You know what?
I had changed my mind. I was like, okay, I'm not gonna bring it up. But then
That was just so rude.
But then earlier in the episode, you said something like I said that Wisconsin was going to lose to William Mary.
Okay. All right. So this is just okay. Right.
I mean, kind of, but at the same time, Lydia Williams. What about her?
But all right, how many saves did she have to make though? Also, I feel like calling you out again in the sense of if you take the
Houston's
team
going to the playoffs. Oh, yes. Never mind.
Yeah. You just add Carly Lloyd to the team that played tonight and they were going to make the playoffs? No.
Are they missing somebody else?
Yeah, I know. I forgot about that. I'll give you that one. On Thursday night, I did forget about her. But still, those are 2 offensive-minded players. That back line is just straight up horrendous.
It's a playoff team if Carly plays the whole year.
If Carly plays the whole year and Ojai is healthy the whole year, yeah.
And obviously they don't care about Brian, so trade her for 2 defenders, probably 2 starting defenders.
Yeah. Yeah. That Morgan Brian was the one person that I was going to bring up in the sense of it sounds like she's still going overseas to play. And it sounded like Chicago knew that was the case, that she still planned on doing that and making the trade. So now
just this winter, right?
I don't know. I guess all I saw was if it was a tweet or on Instagram that said that they pretty much had an honest conversation with her and that she was saying that she had every intention of going overseas and playing, and that Chicago was aware that she still wanted to go over there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all I know. And I guess it's different if she's going to be back for the start of the NWSL season. If she's not going to, then where does that leave Chicago? Is Chicago still going to be in an okay place? Honestly, I think they are if they keep everyone that's currently on the team. But I think it's just a player in Morgan Brian that obviously adds a lot of talent, a lot of skill to your team. So you're always going to be better with her than without her. Or at least that's the thought.
Yeah, I don't think I agree with that as far as her ability, but that team is, even though we're not seeing it recently, that team's fine. I mean,
yeah,
any sort of development from Summer Green or Lauren Caskey to play to just kind of stand in Brian's spot until she's back.
Right.
I mean, Colaprico and Huerta, and now Julie Ertz, who I guess is the goddess of the midfield that the U.S. has been waiting for.
Yeah, if Jill ever calls her up or starts her, it just okay. Yeah. I'm pretty sure she's earned her spot in the starting lineup for the U.S. And if not, then there's going to be some issues. Speaking of
news on Tobin,
that was something I was going to ask you about too. As far as I know, she's only activated, so that I do believe Portland clinched a spot, if I'm not mistaken, or
number 2 spot.
Yeah, they either clinched a spot or they would have to really take a major downturn for the rest of the season in order to not make the playoffs.
They had clinched.
Okay, that's what I thought. So she's active on the active roster. I haven't seen anything that says when she's going to be back. I know that they are hopeful that she'll be back in time for the playoffs. Just trying to see if I can find anything, but I'm not finding anything.
I think it's time. I better let the Pride back into the race.
Oh, okay. It's shaping up to be a good one. I didn't realize that, the 5, what is it, the 5th and 6th seed are still in it. I think it's the Reign and, what is it, Sky Blue?
Yep, and KC has also not been mathematically eliminated, although they need to win out. And
okay, yeah, that's what I figured. I figured that they were close to being out.
Yeah, they would have to. They're 9 points behind. With everybody has 3 games remaining.
Right. I'm just looking at the U.S. schedule here. We've got a game coming up on the 15th and the 19th against New Zealand.
Which one's in Cincy? Which one's in Cincinnati, or is that October?
No, that is September 19th is the one that's in Cincinnati. And then we play in October against Korea Republic, and then we play Canada twice in November.
2 losses.
One of them better be a win because one of us is going to one of them. So I'm going to be very upset.
That'd be great. I hope Canada wins.
No, I would not. Jill's just not going to call up anybody that I want to be on the team. That's what's going to happen. She's going to call up just random
Madison
people.
Tiernan.
Hinkle.
Yep, Hinkle and Madison Tiernan. Co-captains.
But I'm interested to see where she goes with this because she said that she was going to give it to the Tournament of Nations, her little experimentation that she's been doing. So if she's going to continue with that, if she's going to switch course, kind of essentially back to the way that we had been winning, and I guess be smarter with who she calls up. You want to get your young players in there too, but you also want to keep our reputation up. But a good thing the past week in the NWSL was that Rose was back, so that's good to see.
Yeah.
So hopefully
she played.
Yeah, she played. I don't remember when they subbed her in. She played some.
Yeah, so maybe I'm sure she's wanting to play in the U.S. game in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
So that's
it'll
be cool to see her go back home and play for the U.S. team.
She probably won't. Jill probably won't call her up. Just how things
Jill
have been
probably
going.
doesn't even know she's from Cincinnati.
So, staying with soccer, but switching a little bit of topics, I guess. Someone who's not going overseas, Alex Morgan, decided that she's going to terminate her contract with Lyon and stay in Orlando. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Awesome.
Yeah. You just want everybody to stay in the NWSL? Do you think
just don't miss any games.
Okay. Right.
That's all I ask.
Okay.
And don't go to that prick.
What does that mean?
The owner of that team.
Leon. Oh. Oh. Morgan Bryan is going, so.
Yeah. I know.
All of your favorite players are going to Lyon. Next thing you know, Huerta will be over there.
Gordon was down on the bottom of the list before that happened, so don't worry. Feelings weren't hurt that badly. A couple of things that I wanted to mention before we ended tonight was that even though we don't talk about golf because it's not a sport, but we won't get into that right now. The LPGA champion Stacey Lewis of the most recent tour donated her winnings to the Houston Relief.
And then her sponsor, one of her sponsors, matched it.
Yeah, one sponsor matched, and another one donated $1 million.
Really? Wow, that's awesome.
Marathon Petroleum, $1 million.
Wow.
And then tonight's last WNBA game was live streamed on Tidal.
Yep.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, well, I thought I saw somewhere that proceeds went to Hurricane Harvey relief.
For tickets.
Yeah. Okay.
Game, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I was a little bit interested because Tidal's a music thing, is it not?
Yeah, right. And this was the first ever athletic event streamed on Tidal, so that was pretty cool.
Hey, let's hope it's better than Go 90.
Yeah, right. Might be.
That's all I'm really asking for.
Probably is. Yeah.
They have to go back to YouTube next year. It's just
3-year deal. It's going to be tough for that commissioner who's not existing to get out of that.
Deal? Oh my gosh.
3-year deal with Lifetime. I guess I shouldn't say for sure that it's with Go 90, but it might be.
Let's see.
But I don't have anything else. If you have anything to end on, okay. Then big things coming up: U.S. Open, WNBA playoffs will begin. NWHL right around the corner.
Yeah.
And discussions with our NWHL expert to get him on the podcast. So don't worry about that. We'll have that sport taken care of, and I'm sure he'll be excited for it. So stay tuned. We'll figure that out, and hopefully we can figure some more things out on Thursday. But until then, thank you for stopping by the Hera Press Box.